there's a difference between good stress and bad stress. So a little bit of stress, like really strenuous exercise, is good for us, and a little bit of fasting is good for us. Like
Yeah.
fasting is really good for the brain. But chronic stress every day can literally change the structure of your brain.
Hi guys, it's Lisa. Welcome back. Today I have a special guest. I am so excited for you to meet Elizabeth Lucy. You've heard me mention her many times, especially this last year. She happens to be a scientist, and she gave the most clear and concise and understandable explanation about what was happening in COVID. And I could not wait for her daily updates of what was going on, what I should go get at the store, what tomorrow and next week might look like. This same woman has gone beyond giving us updates, and now she's kind of hitting a place where I need a little guidance as well. We are all trying our best to stay like mentally okay, physically okay, and be renewed through this new year coming out of 2020, and now here we are 2021. For maybe just me, I have found myself falling off the wagon in all the different things that I want to do health wise. And I know that I've always felt really good when I'm eating right, when I'm getting enough sleep, when I'm exercising. But Elizabeth has something special to share with us. So I'd like to guys to get to meet and get to hear from Elizabeth herself. So I'm going to bring her in now. She's right here. Hi.
Hi.
I am so glad that you're here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking a little bit of time and sharing with us a very big project that you have going on and something new that you want to share with folks. Guys, I want you to hear from Elizabeth. So go ahead. So
Thank you
let us know
so
what you're up
much.
to.
Thank you so much for having me, Lisa. I'm really excited to be here, and you are absolutely correct. I just loved watching your YouTube videos and connecting with you online. It was just so great to see a side of you and a little bit into your life. So it's really great that we've kept in touch over these years, and thank you for having me here to sort of talk about some of the things that are really important to me. So, yeah, I'm going to share uh, some of the tips and things that maybe will help you at this stage of where we're at with the pandemic and how, certainly at least in the UK, things are opening up a little bit more now, and some of the mindset challenges that have come with that and that have happened over the last sort of year, and basically talk to you about ways that you can optimize your brain essentially, to really feel fulfilled and just work on that improvement of your health and your longevity. So, I am a scientist, as Lisa said. I actually specialize in public health science and health science. Um, so, my undergrads and my pre current doctoral research was all microbiology and molecular biology and epidemiology, which is why I ended up talking to Lisa so much about the pandemic. Because when the pandemic started, I did sort of join in and try and share a bit of my knowledge to keep us away from the media, which is not good for our brains. Lots of mainstream media does not have a good impact on our mental health and actually on our physical brains too. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a sec. And I also, through my day job, I actually run behaviour change clinics specifically around the areas of weight loss. So, my specialist area and my current doctoral research is all around weight loss and the behaviours associated with weight loss and how we can design our environment to be conducive to obtaining and maintaining a healthy weight, but also to ensuring that we are as healthy for as long as possible. So, public health, it's all about upstream health, we call it. Basically, we try to stop people from getting into hospital, we try to keep them healthy before they make it or end up in secondary care or clinical care or hospital care. The reason that all of this is relevant is because here in the UK and internationally, we've seen so many different health challenges due to the pandemic. So, one of the things that I've been doing quite a lot of over this pandemic is providing wellness and brain optimization sessions and workshops to companies. So, I've been working with lots of really big commercial companies and providing sessions through their HR departments and personnel departments, and I've worked on brain optimization. So little tips like clutter, how too much clutter can raise anxiety levels and it can lead to overwhelm, which is one of the contributing factors to burnout. And I did a lot of research in 2016 in clinical settings around the relationship between clutter and an untidy workstation and the clinician's job satisfaction and also the clinical competence. So, like things like near misses and staff satisfaction and patient satisfaction. And so, we saw a link between, among other things, there was other things on that list as well, but we saw clutter was definitely one of the things that had a negative impact on mindset, performance, and also happiness and satisfaction too. So clutter is one of those things. The other things that I would quickly talk about would be things like blue light. So how if you spend too much time in front of a screen, then this can really affect your sleeping patterns because it inhibits the production of the enzyme melatonin. So I think, at this point, lots of people probably already know this, but when you're working from home, a lot of the corporations that I worked with found that staff were on the computers till like 11 o'clock at night, and it was disrupting their sleep patterns and it was leading again to stress, burnout, and overwhelm. So, because I did so much of this work with corporate companies and in my day job, I worked with people who'd been specifically referred through a particular pathway in healthcare, it got me to thinking there's a whole group of people and there's a whole group of like population, really, a whole population of people who don't work in a corporation that's paying for staff wellness sessions, that don't maybe qualify for support through their GPs so they can get referred into a program that's paid for them. And there was also a lot of noise like, hey, everybody, lockdown's lifting. So if you didn't know, here in the UK, we've had 3 lockdowns and we're still in our third one right now. Hopefully, that will be lifting around April time. And lots of people trying to make money off. Let's get thin, let's get fit. Lockdown's finishing. Everybody needs to get fit. And these are very expensive programs, and often they deal with just one aspect, like let's go on a diet or let's do some really intense exercise and hope for the best. But my science and my values don't really align with just limiting, being a very restrictive program, working only on diet, especially very restrictive diets. And very intense, hard working exercise. Like obviously, an advocate of increasing cardiovascular endurance, but when it's like harmful to people who've never done it before, I think, it gets a little bit problematic. So I've created a course that basically supports people to work through all the different areas that can improve their life for the rest of their life. So it's not just do this course and you will lose £100 and you'll be really fit in 6 weeks. It's absolutely nothing like that. This is a course that focuses on your behavior and it helps you to understand all the different influences that can impact your brain, your behavior, and your body. And that's why it's called the Brain Body Behavior Collective, because the program really focuses on the relationship between how we behave and how that trains our brains. It focuses on what we want to achieve in our bodies and how we need to work with our brains in order to do that. But ultimately, it's about longevity. One of the biggest things that I'm so passionate about is helping people to stay healthy before they get to a point where they're really sick and they need to be in hospital, or they need some kind of medication, or they need some kind of like lifelong medication or surgery, because a lot of the time, a lot of these illnesses can be prevented if people took a more ownership of their health a little bit of an earlier date. And it doesn't need to be massive. We're not talking about overhauling our life overnight. We're talking about little ways that you can change your behavior. And by changing your behavior, you can change your brain. So I'm just going to give you a really quick example. There was a study done in 2011 where participants were asked to exercise every day for a set period of time, and it was a combination of cycling or running. And they were compared with another group, so it was a randomized control trial, and they basically measured the brain and the different regions of the brain. And after 6 weeks of intensive exercise, the group that was doing the exercise showed an increase in hippocampal density. So, the region of the brain called the hippocampus, which is a big section of the brain. And that part of the brain is responsible for things like memories and encoding memories and learning and that kind of thing. And they showed a 2% increase in density just from exercising. So, things like that, small little changes can have a big difference. And the reason that it increased in density was because exercise stimulates the production of a protein called brain derived neurotrophic factor. And this protein can stimulate the growth of new and healthy brain cells. So you can literally grow new brain cells just by exercising. So there is lots of easy, simple ways that you can change your behavior, which will basically be an investment for your future self. So you'll be able to stay as healthy as possible just by making a few simple behavior changes and building a few strategies and designing your lifestyle and your environment in a way that puts you on the path for health over a longer period of time. So there's no 6 week fads. It's literally, we are getting healthy for the rest of our lives. We want to be the healthiest 60 and 70-year-olds that there could possibly be. We want to be the ones that are still hiking and still like doing really exciting things. So this program will help you to learn and achieve those behaviors so that you can really adapt those to your lifestyle. I am on Instagram and YouTube. I mean, if you did want to know more about it or come and chat to me, you are so welcome. I'm Elizabeth Lucy on YouTube and Elizabeth Lucy on Instagram. Um, but unless Lisa has anything specific that you want me to go into a bit more detail about,
Well,
I won't bore
yeah,
you too much.
I first of all, you are just lovely and charming. I just think whoever gets to work with you or gets it is just going to have the biggest cheerleader in their corner because I just truly think that you have the best interest of people in mind. And so I just hearing your excitement about how this could be life changing, life altering,
Yeah.
and that and about memory, it makes me think about how my kids are, teasing me about, no, that didn't happen on that trip, and I'm like, stop, I am not that old, and but it makes me think, my gosh, I did kind of like in this hunkering down and then feeling sad about things being canceled and changed and going through that we all went through last year,
Yeah,
the little
definitely.
grief, little things that we lost and things.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
it was there was a lot of
Yeah.
sedentary activity became kind of a norm for me.
Totally. I mean, between the impact of the pandemic, I mean, even Fitbit shared data last year that showed that internationally, so like globally, the step count went down for the whole world during
Wow,
the pandemic. Literally, like the kind of data, they shared the data set because it was just such a like mind-blowing set of data that everybody in the entire world who wears a Fitbit showed that their steps dropped through the pandemic.
that's
So like
fascinating.
it
Yeah,
just impacted the whole world.
yeah.
And all of that stuff around the news, it increases the level of anxiety that we all
Hmm.
feel. And there's a difference between good stress and bad stress. So a little bit of stress, like really strenuous exercise, is good for us, and a little bit of fasting is good for us. Like
Yeah.
fasting is really good for the brain. But chronic stress every day can literally change the structure of your brain. So when you're chronically stressed, your amygdala kicks in and just takes over and
Mhm.
silences the frontal lobes, which is the bit where, where like composed and thoughtful and clever, you
Mm,
know, all the good stuff that we want. When
yeah,
we're really stressed for a long period of time, that shuts down and the reactive part of our brain takes over, the impulsive part of our
yeah.
brain. And, that leads to people to behave more impulsively, and
Hmm.
especially around food. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, you're so stressed and you're so upset and you just think, hey, look, an entire bag of Doritos is the least of my worries when there's a global pandemic.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So, again, can you share one more time where can they find you to learn more about the collective?
Yes, you can find me on YouTube and you can find me on Instagram. The course is on Thinkific as well, but you can get the links through my socials, or you could just email me direct at optimalhealthuniversity@gmail.com as well. If you want to just connect and say hi or ask any more questions, you're more than welcome. I have actually put up on my YouTube channel, just in case anyone is interested. Some of the sessions that I did for the corporate companies, I just made them into like mini trainings, just because I felt bad that people had to be part of a corporation to get,
Yeah,
helpful information. So I thought I'll just put it on my YouTube channel in case anybody sort of wants to catch it there as well.
sure.
It is there for free and you can just watch to your heart's content.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much for coming and joining us, and thank you for sharing this great opportunity to work with you and to really, like you said, make a change that could be a lifelong change. And I think what's so intriguing to me is that idea that it's not just maybe that I just have no willpower, or maybe that we have no
Yeah.
our heart really wouldn't be in it, to get healthier and be strong. That actually, if we put everything together, we could actually, like you're saying, retrain our brain and
Yeah,
work from
definitely.
a place like that. So,
Definitely. Definitely.
and as
Well,
women, as
thank
moms, I
you.
think we have this innate want to take care of and be present
Yeah.
and nurture our families, and it can only be better if we are feeling better and if we are healthy.
Definitely, definitely. I mean,
So,
that was one of my big drivers, how, I mean, I have three children, and I was thinking, I need to have a better setup. I need to design my lifestyle better because my oldest is 6 and my youngest is 1. And these guys are like, they're intense. So they're like, play with me, mommy. Get Batman in the car right now. And then
oh
my
yeah,
daughter's like, I want to go for a jog. And so it's like, I need more energy,
yeah,
so
yeah.
these Doritos have got to go.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And everybody, look
Thank
in the
you.
description. I'm going to have all the ways that you can find Elizabeth Lucy right down in the description box. So thank you again for joining me, dear friend. I'm so glad we have stayed connected over these years.
Me
And
too.
so
Thank you for having me.
you're very, very welcome. God bless you, and
Bye.
continue your good work. Keep putting your heart in your work. You can see it, you can hear it. It's just beautiful. Okay, guys, thank you so much. And yes, go to the description box and find those links there so you can follow Elizabeth Lucy. You're going to be so encouraged. I mean, even last year, pandemic and everything, she still put in a beautiful garden. She did whole greenhouse and steps, and things were growing, and it was glorious. So you're going to find a lot of value with the Brain Body Behavior Collective. So go over there and click on those links. Thanks for coming and take good care. I will see you in the next video. Bye now.